Greetings. Yeah, so I haven't posted anything on YouTube for a while. I've been commenting on how I want to have it have some quality to it. Something that I'm certain that, um, well, first off, this is the best lighting I've seen in a video so far. I mean, look at this. It's so fucking bright in here compared to, usually what it is. Usually I just look like a formless black shape of mass. So beautiful. So either way, people are asking what I look like now. And as you can tell, my hygiene has gone to shit. I'm covered in fucking sweat. Sweat normally turns black for most people, right? Like, not like skin tone black, like this weird... Yeah. Also, I can't help but notice my foundation is the wrong color again. I've been doing this thing where I've been trying to get better, heal up, and shit whatnot, and... Well, this makes it look like it's kind of a bit too dark, but that's more just because there's shadows over my face, because shadows are over the face, but still, when I put it on my hand, it is actually lighter than my hand, so... Whew. Looks like I'm glowing this shot. I mean, I don't actually glow. Humans don't glow, so ergo, if you think you see me glowing, that's just an optical illusion. It does not happen. Much like if you ever see me looking like I'm teleporting or moving around and suddenly changing to new poses without having the ability to see where my hands are going. It's not because I forgot to concentrate on where my body is at the current time and have kind of glitched out. No. It's just an optical illusion. Those things happen. Also, teleportation is just also an optical illusion. It's not a real thing. I mean, it might just be the planet Venus, too. And swamp gas and other parts. Did you know an American president once mistook something for the planet Venus that wasn't the planet Venus? You could, too. So, yeah, I need, like, a haircut, because, like, the sides are, like, look how freaking long that shit is. Assuming there's enough light for that. I'm like, yeah, like, look how fucking shaggy it's getting there on the sides. Ooh. And a bit behind, I shaved my pits. Like, look at that fucking Sasquatch-ass shit there. Fuck, like, so much freaking hair in my body. I had to actually, remember to tweeze my eyebrows. Armpits are, like, getting, holy crap. Notice that my legs were, like, fuck, it was like, I was wearing fuzzy pajamas, I swear to God. I've learned that when I make that complaint to people, they never agree to me. It's because they're just lying to be nice to me. And, of course, a couple areas that, demonetization squares. That makes it sound like it's a treat. Okay. Guess it is a treat. So either way, you'll notice my voice, well, kind of sounds a little bit different. That's because I've not had people punching me in the throat, stabbing me in the throat, or choking me unconscious for the last year. It seems when people use my voice as proof that I'm evil and just bad egg, and, for the good God, they need to remove me. Yeah, when I point out that the reason my voice is like that is because I've had people routinely choke me out, unconscious, punch me in the throat a lot. It's also a famous spot for, me getting stabbed. It starts to lead to, them having to question whether they're the cause of the evil, and so a lot of them just, choose to stab me in different body part locations or coerce other people to attack me. All completely viable responses to this scenario. I am told, on me being evil, I would not understand how good works and operates. So yeah. Yeah, there still are bit points where it does kind of go a little bit scratchy, but it has actually been adjusting a lot. Eventually, I might not have to, have to worry about. People thinking that, I am some kind of a monster purely by my voice. And it's more because of, the fact that I'm obviously an evil, horrible monster, just born a bad egg and just, a problem. Who's just literally the worst in all ways possible. Now that being said, the sound quality on this mic is awesome and superb. Could not get a better mic at all. Like, listen to that quality. ASMR! Oh, that is glorious ASMR from that mic. Wait, can I even do that high-pitched one? Hey, Pluto! Why you hiding on the deck? Don't you like the Skippy? Come get the Skippy, Pluto! Oh gosh, I need to figure out a different joke because nobody actually understands the edgy part of that. It's implied bestiality. But with a friendly kid's character. An original idea that nobody else has ever came up with before, but me. I'm the only one that has ever thought of something like that. I'm gonna have to figure out a better setup for this, and I don't know, that microphone is just beautiful sounding. I might have to shop for something even more beautiful sounding just to switch in here or whatnot. I'm worried I don't sound quite as much like the adults in Simpsons. If I'm to have people respect my opinion and view myself as mature, responsible, and knowing those things. Wait, no, that's... Yes, that's supersized. Oh, gosh. This year has its a year on the calendar, currently. Just so you know, I wouldn't be surprised if we decide to revise it and make it so that's not true anymore. I'm hoping that this year will lower my average getting stabbed a year down a little bit. It's only happened once so far this year. Might bring down the average. So, yeah. Yeah, that's an update. I have been working on writing things out so that my ideas are just the right level of chaotic, incomprehensible, impossible to follow. That makes for the perfect YouTube video to be matched with. And in conclusion, but no, seriously, it's got a project that I'm working on planning out. A fair amount of this means writing stuff, a fair amount is reading stuff to add to the stuff I'm writing. I'm thinking that being quarantined and away from talking to other people and human interaction is a great way for me to have this wonderful feeling where I understand all of reality and the universe and how everything locks in together. I understand some people might question the accuracy of how well I know that stuff. Might even suggest that, maybe I might have gone a little bit mad from this. Either way, I intend to write that down. Because I think that shit's entertaining as fuck when I read other people doing it. Oh gosh, Francis E. Deck Esquire, he did predict when he was going to die. And I say out there that there's a chance he might have been the hope for the future. If only, paid for a typewriter that didn't release poison gas. But, yeah, I do enjoy that content a fair amount, and a fair amount of it's also going to be going into the power of doubt. People keep talking about how faith is such a wonderful thing, you just overwork your doubt. I don't know, when you're trying to talk about how faith is more powerful, immediately refer to something that is an easy counter to it, that not just whether you do it or not, as to just whether you do it or not. If somebody nearby you is doing it, it will affect you. But that sounds like it's a more powerful thing. But it's always phrased like, well, I doubt magic's going to work. It's more, honestly, with how things have been going, I doubt the notion that magic is a thing is kind of a believable thing at this point. I mean, dude, have you not looked at what's been happening with a few recent... Magic just seems, the notion of doubting magic just seems kind of ridiculous at this point. I doubt that, magic is not real. It gets hard to explain the language of it, but just... And a fair amount of it at this point looks like I'm going to be taking a lot of stuff that usually requires faith to power it and just simply powering it with doubt. Sure, I doubt that I'll probably have my doubt powerful enough to fly by just sheer doubting that gravity is, entirely competent in its job. Though that would explain why apparently it's weird for me to have things float in my room when I sleep. Yeah, I've had people comment on that, or people talk about how there's an earthquake, and I'm like, what? But nothing unusual's happening, and everybody's like, things were flying all over the place. Yeah, but the normal amount of things flying all over the place, right? And that conversation proceeded to go nowhere after that. Yeah. Can I do this consistently? No. Can I do, 100 push-ups consistently? No. Some days, I can kind of do it. Some days, yeah. And I think that's also kind of part of the other issue with this sort of spiritual stuff, is people act like, well, no. You had one good day, so every day's got to be a good day, right? I mean, or everybody's got to be like this bad day. And it's not like, people work on skills or anything. You don't have, football players that, had to do years to learn how to have the laces the right way out so they don't decide that their gender is wrong. That's football, right? Fairly certain, but that's the whole point. Wearing tights. And grappling, people of the perceived same gender, But yeah, it's most things you do require skill building. Artwork requires skill building. Hell, even meditation to some people requires. Other people are like, no, I just sat down one day and my form is perfect. Hell, even if you want to say, punch somebody in their face on account that their face is very stupid and you just have a really punchable face. I mean, don't punch me literally was the same thing as punch me right now. I mean, get away from me. Practically meant, beat the crap out of me. I mean, look, I'm a good, upstanding person with a good future ahead of me, and they're not a saint. But either way, edgy humor aside, hitting somebody, is something that you have to figure out how to do effectively. People are like, no, even a toddler. No. A toddler is just likely to hurt themselves when they hit somebody as they are the other person. In fact, most fights I get into end because the other person just hurt themselves in the fight. Which means I only won tactically. Yeah, sure, tactically that's a win. Let's count all the tactical wins as, positive. Yeah. That's not a scummy way to go about it. Yeah. So even to fight, as somebody that gets into a lot of fights, and people are like, what? No, you're violent. Violence is bad. I'm not understanding that. Pacifism is genocide. 100% of the time. Pacifism is genocide. They might list that one time the South Seas Trading Company managed to have it so the British Empire had to remove some of their colonies, but recounted in some weird way that doesn't involve a major economic collapse, making it hard for them to maintain their overseas things. And in a way that has me wondering, who was the Gaudi of New Zealand? Who is Australia's Gaudi? Who was Canada's Gaudi? who was Trinidad, Haitian. No, Haitian was the Portuguese. Or was it Either way, there was a lot of colonies that ended up not being ruled at the same time, who I don't seem to have a historical gaudy, Therefore, yes, I'm doing that thing where I purposely mispronounce a name to show I don't really care about, and then go on a several minute rant for it. Circle that in part of, people being stupid idiots on webcams. Oh, I think we have, let me go back there. Come on here and get your card filled in. Checked. So, alright, pacifism and genocide. I get into fights mostly because, in the same way, I'm like, well, why do cops carry guns? Why does your country have a military? Or specifically, why does your country have specific sanctions to have a defense force instead in lieu of a military? Or have to have other militaries there? I mean, it's pacifism is genocide. That's just all it is. And sometimes, yeah, you'll run into people that mean to see you dead. And you need to figure out how to not end up dead. And sometimes, yeah, you will have to be violent to not dead. So like all things that are skills that people do to various levels of incompetence, why is somehow the ability to, I don't know, take like a deck of this nonsense. I was about to do this. That's the very little competency I have with this. Like, take something like this, and various levels of picking a fight with you and calling you out. I mean, why should you just be able to pick up one and have it, be like, you, I'm calling you suck. Because that's pretty much what these do. And I love the mocks out of these things. They will be fucking like, yeah, you. This is fucking shit you're on right now. This is, you think I won't call you out? I'll call you out. Love it. These little cardboard things completely within range of fireball. Really, really brave. Respect the crap out of them. I mean, I don't actually do that. I adore it. It's like, goals as fuck right there. A bunch of little plastic bits of cards. Can be like, do you want some? Come at me, bro. Why can't I do that? I mean, what can stop me from doing that? Why am I too scared to be like, yeah, just why you suck? So, and that itself is a skill. Like, I did a reading for somebody recently, and she was surprised that they don't have descriptions on the card. And they kind of do. Well, this deck does, because it doesn't just have pips, it has images on the pips, and you're supposed to understand what the symbolism means and goes through that and give a reading based on that, because it's essentially an elaboration of the Rorschach blot test. Except it's a lot harder to scan and fake than the Rorschach blot test. Yes. That thing that people are like, what, that's pseudoscience? The basis that was behind it, the conjecture that the hypothesis was phrased around, is still somewhat valid, though. And it's more just, it's used mostly in sociology courses, not the actual tarot deck, but the stuff behind what the conjecture was formed around for the Rorschach blots. And with tarot cards, it's pretty much what you're doing. It's just the Rorschach blot tests, before the Rorschach blot tests were a thing, and mostly using the act of egg suggestion to try to force your head to sort of do something, to be like, wait a second. I suppose word disassociation therapy could be associated with that, but Rorschach plots are cool. Word disassociation therapy is Neil Cicierra, which I guess he's cool, but not me. He's the sort of person that comes in, says the best lines, and you're like, I would never say something like that out loud. But yeah. I keep doing this loud, noisy breathing thing. It's the most annoying trait ever. I'm working on actually basically adding as many of those into my speech tone. Because I hate all of you. You're the worst. And that's why, I'm fairly certain that this reality is a Mega 10 game. Well, not 100% certain, but probably about 10% certain that it might be, and that's too much for this, if you're familiar with that. Tokyo never gets nuked in those games. By the power of Lucifer, of course. Ah, yes, the fun not having Tokyo nuked part of every one of those games. It's my favorite part of those games. How Tokyo's never nuked. So, now that being said, but there are Mega 10 games in here, and well, they have a tendency to exist in the games themselves to some degree as some kind of Easter egg thing. Also, if you hear the music in the background, it's from a radio station that literally calls themselves Jack. Still have to do some fan art for them that involves the Jack Bros. Just fan art that nobody will understand. Not even me. I would say only me, but let's be honest. That might be a little bit much here. So mostly what this stuff is that I'm going to be working out while completely secluded, alone, away from human interaction, except for maybe text on screen that people get upset when I say it's not real, even though most of the networks are just like the highlight reel of their lives, and there's all kinds of stuff about how you're supposed to put your best foot forward on that. It's the sort of thing that shit posters tend to work around, but it's not you. It's your performance. But more of it. Without the option of you breaking through that. Or rather, the only way you break through it is based upon what you choose to perform in those cases, mixed with the highlight reel. But not just highlight reel, but highlight reel you're okay with. What you want to communicate to people about what's like. And people act like that's communicating with actual people. Mind you, the biggest contender of that being real people are also the same people that have waifus on body pillows. I'm not even actually pointing to a body pillow. There's a space on the bed there. I should have pointed to the blanket there, or the not body pillow that's a pillow. There's a word for that type of pillow. Normal pillow is what I shall call it. Because I want to see people squirm. But yeah, so these are the same people that will talk about 2D waifus. I don't get your attraction to it, but it seems like you want to not be dating a person, you want to be dating a reflection of your own subconscious, I guess, or dating yourself. And a lot of people act like that's normal. No. I want to find somebody that, first off, isn't exactly like me, because that will lead to another, fight. Two, I want to be able to do somebody that, can match up with me. The peanut butter to my jelly time. Yes. Maybe people will stop thinking I'm such a kid if I regularly refer to arcane, outdated, and just ancient concepts of the elderly. I was tempted to refer to another one at that point, but I can't quite evenly laugh out the Amsterdam song, because it just ends up sounding like the Amsterdam song, and the people just don't seem to connect that that's me evilly laughing it out. And it sounds exactly the same. and that joke doesn't actually work. And, doing all your basic demonic voice is just how you normally say it, and that doesn't actually work as anything. It's weird when you don't do it like that. What kind of weirdo doesn't? Right. So yes, I'm going to spend this time in solitary, not able to really socialize with people too often, all alone with my thoughts, considering the various ways I could work to create a system that I can educate people on various, magus, psionics, sorcery, and seer-based material, but also make software to test and evaluate people's progress with it. Not necessarily your strength for a one-time test, because the Myers-Briggs test only works if you do it in multiple different scenarios and just use it as a guide to figure out where you're going right now as a person. It's not something that, I did this test once, this is who I am forever. There is nothing else that could be me. But yeah, it's even with that, you have to regularly do it or whatnot to make sure you're in a similar headspace, or see where your headspace is adjusted. And if you do it multiple times, there's a chance that you'll eventually figure out how to game it for the result that you want, which don't. But with this whole Institute for Magus, psionics, sorcerers, and seers education and evaluation thing that I'm going to be planning out. My landlord has already asked me not to write on my walls. It's weird that I've gotten a reputation for that, even though it wasn't even, it was mostly just to fuck with other tenants. We're getting to be a little bit too handsy. I mean, it's hard to get into somebody's room and touch their demonetization square if their wall is covered with demonic sigils. For some people. For the others, I had a whole bunch of black widows in that room with me. And I mean, it's also the fact that the lighting there was on par with here. I mean, there was a bit more ambience in some corners that I did the sigils. I like to think it was after sigils, but that's more just my mind playing tricks on me, because that stuff's not real. Why would you think it's real? Why would you believe that there was extra darkness on the wall from the sigils? That makes no sense. So stop thinking it. So IMPSI, or IMPS, I'll be working on it in a state where I'm fairly certain by the end of it I'll be completely confident that I'm completely understanding of the universe, how everything works, and how everything makes complete and total sense. Because I'll be entertained to read. Oh gosh. Whether it's accurate or not, that's part of what I'll have to actually do, is, come up with various scientific systems to, first off, measure growth and development, to see if there's better ways to teach or develop. Keep in mind that there's going to be improvements on various things, because, you read a book on exercising from, say, 1920. Sure, it gets used as a religious textbook by people trying to scam things by saying that it's, South Asian ancient secret. Sure, yes, that happens. But other than that, it's not really, the original sort of training manual isn't really good. Many of those things will actually update it from that, change things, add more modern ways into it. They'll try to act like no, this is how it's always been. What do you mean by other classes? Well, clearly their teacher wasn't as understanding of the ancient arts as me. Including the ancient arts that seem like I just made them up just right now. Don't think that. don't think I made up any of my ancient rituals on the spot. Why would you think that? That's not something to think. So, yeah. That's my current plans, and yes, I need to work on improving all of this. First off, I don't have enough piles of dirty laundry to have them stacked up high enough for its camera shot yet. I should probably get a little table, put the piles of dirty laundry on them. I probably need some posters or whatnot up. The issue with that is they have a tendency to fall or show up on different spots of the wall than where they were originally posted. Mostly in the, you know, that thing where tape kind of ends up falling off one spot, sticking, then the other tape falls off, but sticks, and it kind of makes a kind of walking thing. Tape does this all the time. Some people freak out. It's like, that poster is moving. It was there. No. That's just tape losing its adhesive, then just not having fully lost its adhesive, and just maybe a bit of backdraft getting cooked in the wall. It's much like how when walls bleed, it's just nicotine bleed coming out of the sort of struts that hold the drywall. Like, you know, there's one struts in there. Sometimes you've had buildings that come from eras where people smoked like chimneys. You don't have people smoking like that anymore. But you used to have that. That's why they have to edit those films to remove all those like 20 or 30 cigarettes from people's mouths at any particular time. Trying to watch myself so I don't do as many lizard-like movements on camera. Because I'm a human, and humans don't move like that. Humans. So, yeah. So these wooden things on the wall will sometimes gather a fair amount of nicotine, and what will happen is it'll end up due to there not being as much nicotine on the other side, calming out in like a sort of semi-permeable membrane thing, except not really, because the pressure is like different or whatnot. You can make it worse by increasing the temperature of the room or whatnot, or decreasing it. Temperature change will do it. And what will happen is it looks like it's bleeding on the wall when it's just nicotine. If you're nick fitting, I highly suggest you lick the bleeding walls wherever you're living that have walls that bleed. It's totally how you deal with that. I mean, there's no possible health issues by dealing with your nick fits by licking bleeding walls in your place where something comes out of the wall that has the visual appearance of human blood. It isn't, because walls don't bleed. That doesn't happen. You're probably just seeing the planet Venus. A president once mistook the planet Venus for something else other than it is, so it's entirely possible you could as well. I mean, are you going to say that you're better than a president? Are you? Really? So, yeah. I will have to work on this arrangement. The lighting, it's been the cheery side, yes. It could use a bit more atmospheric elements. This laptop, I've noticed, has added a bit of a chipper cheery element to this that I can't get on other devices just by the backlit screen. Adding a slight bit of illumination, which I wasn't expecting. I was half expecting me to be the gloriously beautiful, vague shape of black blobs moving around like a cloud of entirely human and not sinister at all intense. The intents are fine. Why are you questioning the amorphous black cloud's intents? You just cease that at once! So, yeah, this is already at that, and I'm not going to bother to edit it. The later videos, once I have editing tools that I can figure out how awful I am at using and how I'm just completely fail at them, will evolve edited videos. But yeah, I'm going to upload this, even if the sound quality is awful. Especially if the sound quality is awful. I'm going to be disappointed if it's not too completely terrible. But yes, I should invest in a mic. A better mic. A Peanuts adult mic. So that I can order all my food for in my belly. Like the human I am. Alright, so how's this puppet body supposed to... Oh, that's...